Good evening, friends. Happy New Year. Happy 2023. We are so excited. We're so happy. We're ready to start the year up and running. We actually have done a lot of work before today, and we're so happy and proud of it. So let's get the show started. This is our second year with the Viva de tus Rentas podcast and Viva de tus Rentas in YouTube. And now we're going to focus on the best subject of all, finally, which is the creative financing. Creative financing has been the best strategy, and the strategy that has helped me accumulate a few doors throughout the years and start looking for my financial freedom. So today, I have a great guest that I am so thrilled that the universe put us together through networking on social media. But before I introduce you to him, I want you to remind you to subscribe to the channel as well as like it so you can continue getting this information, as we're going to be doing this on a weekly basis in both English and Spanish. And as well, I like to get a little bit of housekeeping items out of the way, which is just to remind you that what we are not. We're not a group of, we are not attorneys. We are not accountants. We are not financial advisors. We are not tax asset attorneys, and we are not IRS employees. However, I'm so lucky again because with the ability, with social media, we have been able to connect 60 years of experience of this amazing strategy, which is creative financing. And not only is it creative financing that we're going to talk about, but this is going like a doctor's degree creative financing, because this gentleman, not only can he negotiate with zero money, but he can also carry the note with zero money, and he can negotiate with the banks foreclosures. So that's like the triple super amazing experience that this man has for us. And the best part, he has inventory ready for you to take home. So this is our year. If you don't get to start investing in real estate, is because you're not taking action. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Harry Gio, or Harry G. Thank you. Welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, before I get you started with how did you get started with real estate? Before that, let me ask you this, because I know people, all my friends, I have a ton of investor friends, and they have all kinds of different pain points degrees. So a lot of them don't believe that this is possible. Is it possible to invest in real estate with zero money?
We do it every day.
Tell us more about it.
Well, many people, once they receive notice from their current lender, their current mortgage company, they go into a panic. The majority of them are in denial. And our job is to contact them either by phone or by email or a letter. And we try to make an appointment to go and see them and explain our business process, how we acquire the property and stop them from having a default that eventually comes with foreclosure.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is that you specify, you find this particular niche and you establish a relationship. Is that what happens here? So how do you, what do you mean zero money? How do you take over the property, take possession of the property with zero money?
Most lenders will allow the current homeowner to go into a forbearance agreement of some sort, where they can take the amount that's in the arrears and put it on the back end of the loan. But most people that get into this situation don't even want to keep the property anymore because they can't handle the expense and the increase in property taxes and insurance over time. And now maybe one of them has lost a spouse, they have to downsize, children have moved on. So they really want to get out and have the bleeding stop, because now there's really one income most of the time, or no income. And even if you can modify their current mortgage position to get it out of foreclosure and into a forbearance agreement, what can happen at that point is they're going to fall into default again, because they don't have the financial wherewithal to continue to keep the loan in the black.
So because most of this, the challenge here is not necessarily the property, but the owner. So the owner is the one that's stressed, not the property per se.
Correct. But again, and as with most foreclosure properties, the majority of them do need some type of work, or as we like to call it, they need a little love.
Sure.
And
TLC.
correct. When people are in foreclosure, they tend to not care for the property as they once did, like not cutting the grass or trimming bushes or taking care of paint work, window treatments, and other stuff, including the inside of the home.
Sure. But would you say that in most cases it's just mainly TLC versus, I always tell my clients or students, there are so many type of properties, right? Or the stresses. So you could have the ones that are $20 to $30,000 that are probably burned down to the ground, and the owners not necessarily are in distress. They just don't want to deal with it, or the insurance pay for them. They just decide not to, whatever the case may be. Or you have the stress with the owner, correct? And if they're living in the property, most likely is in operating order per se.
Most people once lived in the property and have now left, most likely the state of Illinois, for another state. And the property is then overrun by squatters that don't have any permission to be there. Excuse me. And they have to then figure out how to get them out of there, and they don't want to deal with it. So our company comes along and makes sure that we get the squatters out of there.
It's so interesting that you say that, because we're talking about, first of all, we're talking about a complex way to negotiate, the structure. And not only that, but that's, a lot of people don't like the state of Illinois precisely because the tenants are highly, it's not a landlord state. And what that means is that, explain to us what that means.
Well, it takes between 8 and 12 months to get someone out of there. And then for some reason, they find this emotional attachment to all your appliances and anything else that they can walk out the door with once they leave.
But the interesting part about it is the squatters, whom are people that just found the property vacant and decide to move in, are also protected at some point. Isn't that correct?
Yes, it is, especially when they're making a fake lease and saying, hey, I have a lease here, when the police show up and say, these people have to take us to court if they want us out of here. They make a fake lease and say, we paid someone a year up front. And now you really don't have a leg to stand on in Cook County, especially here.
So this is such an interesting conversation, because all of these things can be a challenge for a lot of people that want to learn how to do this. How do you overcome those challenges? What do you do?
Well, I've had to live through it. So I've stepped on every landmine in this business. So the best thing to do is have good attorneys that know their ways around the law, that'll follow it to the letter, and you really don't want to be leaving these properties vacant. So I no longer go to the foreclosure sales. I don't take properties that have been vacant for a while. I avoid that at all costs.
So you go to the clients, or you target the houses that are pre-foreclosed on the negotiating side of it?
Only pre-foreclosures. That's our specialty.
That's amazing. So you probably have a way to get a hold of your leads and talk to them and generate a lead, because that's another part that my clients probably, in my opinion, they need to learn, that all of these areas of real estate need to have a little system and process, right? Like a cookie or pizza baking store.
We do. We have a phone staff that contacts the people that are in this financial distress at this time. They contact them by phone, by email, by letter. As soon as the prospect calls back, they want to talk, they set my appointment and I go on the appointment and I meet with them and we lay it all out on their dining room table. This is what we offer. This is the benefit to you. This is the outcome later.
Right. It's so amazing because you were talking about fixing their credit, and it's so true. They have no idea that when they leave their houses and where they go through the foreclosure process, they may be liberated from this problem, but they don't have they probably don't know that their balance get attached to their credit, and that is an issue that you get to resolve, and that's huge in my opinion. But before we go through all of that, I really want to go back to how did you get started? I mean, 40 years, you are a very young person. In 40 years, it's like you were just thrown in there at 10 years old. How did you get started? Because this
Thank God for hair color.
and manicures.
So, well, I started out very young in the real estate business. My grandparents came here in 1902 from Greece. My father was born in 27. He also went into the real estate business as well. And then in 65, I came along. And from the early age of 16, I started working with my father in the real estate business. So I learned it from ground up doing the.
What were you doing? Were you sweeping and cleaning, or were you collecting rent?
No, that took years to get to that. I was doing the dirty work. I was gut rehabbing properties that were either on fire or flood damage or disasters.
So what did he invest in? Single family, multifamilies, commercial?
We started doing multifamilies because that's how my father learned. But as the years went on, especially if you're being a landlord, which we were pretty big at one time, before 2008's financial crash, and then
Yes.
I had to retool. But before that, we were not only renovating buildings, but we were also converting them to condo. So,
Oh, wow.
and that's what we were banking on, hoping that the Olympics were going to actually make it to Chicago, and then they did not. And then
This what year is this?
2008, during the
Okay.
crash when it came. So we were banking on, we had all of our eggs in that basket. And we were banking on getting retail pricing for all of our units that were now converted to condos. And we didn't receive the nomination for the Olympics.
Oh,
The financial markets crashed. They took a dive like a lead balloon. The Section 8 stopped paying for all the rental payments that were due.
that's why you don't like Inglewood.
Yeah. Multi-unit properties cause that problem because if you have one bad unit and you have 50 units and one unit doesn't pass inspection, they don't pay across the board for all the units. And that
Oh, wow.
us financially. So after the 2008 crash, we dusted ourselves off and went back to work and only focused on people that were in foreclosure. And I'm talking about within days of being in foreclosure.
And back in the day, I mean, everyone started just going in foreclosure. I mean, I lived that market. I lost property there too.
Well, we lost 323 properties.
Oh,
I'm
my.
living proof of what can happen.
I mean, I am so lucky that to have you here because most people are so afraid to move forward. They're afraid to so many things. But what would you say to those folks?
Well, people need to understand it's going to get a lot uglier now in 2023. It's going to be really tough. It's going to be a real tough market. Just in the last 3 months, just in Cook County alone, and we service all the counties on a national level. But just in Cook County alone, in the last 3 months, we've had almost 1,000 pre-foreclosures filed.
So when you said it's going to get ugly, I mean, that's not necessarily ugly for you because that's your niche, right?
Yes, that is
So
correct.
when you said ugly, what do you mean?
The banks will be enforcing collection on all the people that have done some type of a modification, but even though they kept them in their home at one time for a longer time than they could have been, they
Hmm.
now have to start paying down these notes and struggling after the pandemic. This has been a real rough time for the people in America that are single family homeowners.
So what do you suggest that they'll do?
Well, they should really contact companies like ours or others to get the help that they need to stop the bleeding before the property goes away. Because a lot of people have a lot of equity in their home.
Hmm.
And for example, if someone owns a home that's valued at, let's say, 300,000, and now they only owe 200,000, but they're in the arrears about 8 or 10 months, companies like ours comes along. I mean, we write checks. We had one lady says, well, my attorney said it's not a good deal. Well, really? Well, does your attorney going to write a check and take
Yeah.
care of your last 14 months of back payments? She's like, no. I said, well, what's your attorney doing for you?
So
Yours?
when you said you write checks, I'm sorry, you give her a check to like cash for keys per se?
Well, it's not really a cash for keys. We want to,
Cash
uh,
for a quick claim deed?
yeah, we take possession of the property. We
Okay.
take care of the arrears. We give the property a quick little cleanup and an empty out, whatever is necessarily there left over. And then what we do after that is we list the property to sell because we have acquired it subject to the existing terms of the previous loan.
Yay, subject to.
Mhm. It works and it helps a lot of families because now
Yes.
you can sell the house below market value to a deserving family that has a down payment to get in.
And help this other family with their stress and take care of their credit.
It's a win, win, win for all sides, the bank, the seller, the person that's the end buyer, and whoever else is owed money, because a lot of these properties have liens on them that we don't know about and
Mhm.
additional lines of credit.
So you obviously you did your due diligence, and once you figure how many liens are out there pending, you're going to negotiate the price or the monies being given
Correct.
to them.
Yes.
So friends, this is so important because a lot of folks think that because they have an attorney or they have negotiated a forbearance, they're going to be good, all good, and that's not true. The bank is just going to be taking care of their own pockets. The attorneys are just going to go with the system. So if you really, sometimes, I don't know, I'm sure you're so experienced, Harry D, that I had to let go properties because it's just in my best interest. So sometimes we have to kind of cut our losses. Is that how you say it? And
Well,
it's better to start all over. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
it does make economic sense for people to stop the bleeding
Yes.
and get something instead of losing it all, because a lot of these attorneys are giving misinformation to people by saying, pay us 500 a month, we'll keep you in your house. Well, what they're doing is they're increasing the payoff amount on the back end because the other attorneys representing the bank are adding significant fees.
Yes. Interest at the correct. Yes. Thank you for the reminder. Hmm.
Mhm. Eventually, when the properties get taken over, the people walk away with nothing, absolutely nothing.
That with the whatever balance they had, right? So like this lady, if she owes 200,000, that's if the house sells for 100 at auction, she's attached another 100 plus never buying a house again. Isn't
Well,
that
they're
correct?
gonna, yeah, what it's normal procedure for a bank then to move forward with to try to collect on the deficiency amount that they missed out on. So once they receive that default judgment against that person, that will result in them aggressively pursuing the collection of that debt through wage garnishment. Once they do a citation to discover assets and bring them all back to court, costing them legal fees, and it's pushing them into a corner where they're going to be compelled to file bankruptcy and pay legal fees again. We stop all of that from ever happening.
So that's fantastic. So you do make that, you do have a one-on-one appointment with the person, live appointment. You do get to that person. That's
Absolutely.
fantastic.
One-on-one, and I tell them, ask me all the questions. I give them my personal cell phone. They can call or text me anytime they want throughout the process, and it goes quick.
That's so when you said goes quick, tell me about it. Give me an idea, please. Like this lady that we're talking about, do we have an actual example? Do we have an address that you like to promote? Have our clients called us that you need to dispose from your inventory?
Well, in Illinois right now, Illinois, we have a property in Hickory Hills, another
Ooh.
one in Oak Lawn. We have a fixer-upper in Posen on a double lot. And
Where's Posen? I'm sorry.
Posen is 145th and Western, right off the
Okay.
294 at 147th. And then we have a 5-bedroom, 3-bath monster in Bartlett, DuPage County, which is outstanding. It's just needs paint and carpeting.
So listen, friends, go to my Facebook page, Vive de tus rentas de la A a la Z. Go to my IG, Vive de tus rentas USA. Go subscribe to YouTube channel, give it like to my channel, and I'll be happy to send you all these properties along with a hard money lender and a traditional lender, so we can help you get into these properties. If you want to flip them, if you want to buy them and rent them, or Airbnb or medium term rental, all of it, we can tell you what to do. We can give you an advice on what's the best exit strategy would be. Just give us a call or join our social media. We really want to work with everyone. If you're losing your property due to lack of tax payment, can't repair it, you're getting divorced, it doesn't really matter. Give us a call, 312-388-1418. We can solve this problem. This is a problem that needs to be solved, and we're happy to just analyze and help you out. Isn't that right, Harry G?
Absolutely. You got it. Well
Thank
said.
you. Thank you. And also, friends, I am so excited because I'm starting this new show, not only with, bilingual, I guess, but with a sponsor. And I want to give my sponsor a shout out for being so supportive, and helping us bring this guest to us. And hopefully he'll continue going. But should you have any problems with taxes, do you need to file your taxes? Do you have taxes that you have not filed in a long, long time? It doesn't matter if they're taxes for business, income taxes, personal income taxes, especially if you're a truck driver. We understand what kind of issues you could have with your receipts and income and claiming your income. So you have to Google, you have to go to the website of Tax Relief One, and they can help you there. Phone number, all you need to do is Google that. There is a information sheet that you can just fill in with your name, your email address, your phone number, and they'll call you. The phone number will be on the bottom of the screen. You need to call them and resolve all your tax problems. So Harry, what else can you tell us about your properties? What other things or tips you think we can share with our audience? Because I know this is probably a little bit of kind of advanced investing information. So if we can maybe recap this. So you are I guess we could say that you are a wholesaler, created financing, owner carry, but you do a lot of things here all in one. Is amazing. So someone that really hasn't started exploring into credit financing or investing probably doesn't understand. How would you break it down in the simple pieces to
The
understand what you do?
I do. So the difference between pre-foreclosures and purchasing foreclosures by going to the auction and everybody's bidding them all up, you really don't get that much of a value unless you're pretty much buying these things for 50 cents on the dollar. At that point, you're buying something that needs a lot of restoration cost, which means downtime. Let me back up a little bit. Let's say that you're the winning bidder at the auction. and it's 200,000, you're the winning bidder. You pay the 200,000, and now it's going to be 4 to 8 weeks before you go in front of a judge to have the sale confirmed. Once that confirmation hearing takes place and the judge confirms the sale, now you can take that document and go get your deed. Deed's recorded, and now you have possession of the property. So tying up $200,000 for 2 months and doing absolutely nothing, and a lot of risk there, because now you can have people breaking in, stripping the place, squatters, people that have, addiction issues. That's all. It happens every day. To avoid all that, you're better off getting a better deal by not going through the foreclosure auction, by not tying up your money, by not tying up a penny, by going and meeting with homeowners and showing up with documents. And if they agree to our promise, okay, if they agree to what we're promising, then we follow through. We will cure all back payments, taxes, insurance, mortgage. We will take care of HOA fees. We'll take care of any liens on the property. Some people have lines of credit that they have in the background, but they haven't used yet. So you have to make sure all that's disclosed, where they won't go and yank 100,000 after they've made a deal with you and then run away. So people that have properties in a jam like that financially need to do something, because eventually it's going to go away and they're not going to get anything after that. So the best thing to do is make a deal with them where you can give them something upon the sale. In the meantime, we're going to show up, and under our articles of agreement that we put together, we will agree to take care of all the payments that are in the arrears, take the property out of foreclosure status, give them time to move. Do not strip the place clean. That's all in the agreement. And we will give them some money to help them move. Or if there's a ton of equity in the property, we'll give them additional funds after we have resold the property. And it's all in writing. Everybody gets a fair deal, and it's always better to get paid versus walk away and get nothing. We also offer, let
Go
me
ahead,
just,
I'm sorry. No, continue, please.
we also offer to pay for their full credit restoration. They can go to any company they choose. We will pay that bill. So this way, within 6 to 12 months, their credit can be fully restored after we've taken possession of their home. And then they can move on and either rent a place, buy a place from an investor like ourselves, or they can even come back to me and purchase one of our other properties.
That's amazing. So how this is just blows my mind all the time. So I'm very familiar with what you're talking about, but this is like, again, super sophisticated, super niche oriented, and obviously all this experience and connections. So you were talking about, you started with multifamily. What happened? How do you go from multifamily to this amazing creative financing craziness that you do?
Well, doing the multifamilies, you're looking for a buyer that's this big. When you're doing individual single family homes, you're looking for a smaller buyer, which we prefer to cater to the masses. And lots of a little is always better than a little of a lot. So if people are looking for multi-units, they can contact all the different groups out there that sell those, that specialize in them. I have found it much more rewarding to get deserving families to move into a home versus a family to move into an apartment unit.
Agreed. I think there is a way better opportunity in these niches where nobody is taking it. It's an underserved group per se, right? I think that's basically where it comes down to. I mean, even I teach my clients how to invest in small commercial, like one, 5,000 square retail shop, which could be turned into a daycare center, which are
Sure.
very popular in the South Side. Very a great income, and it's only $200,000-300,000. That's not going to be listed by a CBR or companies like that, or bought by a big investor, and same things with the multifamilies, the 5 to 20 unit buildings. Those are, I think, great opportunities because also the owners are mom and pops. So you're also going to have the ability to negotiate with them and not having to deal with these big institutions for the most part. So I think that the little niche is fabulous. And it's amazing that a lot of people don't realize how much opportunity it is just there is out there just by learning. I have this say and to my clients that I said I'm gonna try to teach you how to invest in real estate with your mind and not with your sweat of your forehead. So I what do you say to folks right now? I'm not at all attached to flipping. I dislike flipping, and I encourage all my clients to not flip, especially the first time investors. What are your thoughts on flipping houses?
Flipping is a tough game because as soon as you leave to go buy materials, your workers are sitting down. That happens. You never give your debit or credit card to the contractors to go and buy materials because they're going to get extra stuff and do side jobs. It just happens. These are what they call unavoidable truths. So when you buy a house and you're doing all this renovation work, you're going to have an additional 30 to 40% increase in cost on the renovation for unforeseen circumstances. There's always something that comes up. Something's broken, something's leaking, something's wrong, some code violation. Inspectors start swarming the place like vultures. Things happen, and then there's downtime. So now you have the cost of carrying that money.
Carrying cost. Mm-hmm.
Carrying cost and burn
Mhm.
out.
I have a client that he was recently going to court. He couldn't do anything with it because the neighbors called the minute that he bought the house. He had, obviously, it's an investment. Garbage accumulated, called the city, violations. The man didn't even know because the transfer of the D addresses. So he passed that date. Now he's going to court with the attorney. He can't do anything about it. So yes, people have no idea how many things are out there. And another things that I've learned with my clients is that they love the price of $20,000. Every time they tell me I saw a property with $20,000 list price, I tell them, run away. The cheaper, the bigger the problem, obviously. And a lot of the times when they don't pay attention to that, they come back to, you were right. There's a title problem, or there is this, or those title problems are things that our clients and brand new people don't think about because they're usually working with people that are not realtors. And I'm not saying that one thing is better than the other, but if the realtor at least is going to put them through a process with an attorney and the step of the title company, which is usually someone that doesn't have the experience probably doesn't go through that. But anyway, so what would you say to someone that just want to start investing in real estate? Where would you start right now if you had to start all over again without any knowledge?
Well, I think people need to understand that what they don't understand, and they have to understand, is the fact that 78% of all mortgage loan applicants are denied. That's a huge market for us. So that's where sub 2 comes in, that helps people get into homes with creative financing, seller financing, owner financing, whatever you want to call it. And they can get into a home. They're not locked into our program. We like to give them 2 years if they want, but if, hey, 30 days goes by and they want to go to a bank after that just to take us out, that's when we really make our money. We don't make it on the front or while we're carrying the paper. We make our money when we sell the property.
This is amazing, friends. Listen to this. I mean, not only you're helping the seller, the person in distress, but the company is able to cure all those problems, all that stress, get to a figure where everybody's happy. And then they go and help another person that can get into a traditional loan that has a little bit of money sitting there, or can get it just as most people can do that. and help them get into this house, or even with the equity of this house, something could be negotiated. If it's an FHA, it could be a gift, or it could be a down payment. There's so many ways. So this is amazing. They're helping the seller, they're helping the buyer, they're doing all this work that I understand it's hard to understand, but it's amazing because you're doing the realtor, the title company, and the attorney work. I mean, I am very familiar with this, and I will say that's truly what you're doing.
Well, we do everything with an attorney. We
Understood.
do everything with a title company. When we sell a home to someone, they get a healthy home. They get a clean deal with no additional liens. We go from being the seller to being their lender for a short time, and we can always extend it again if we have to. You know, we're not here to gouge anyone. We just want to help deserving families get into a home. We understand that people have good jobs. They have money in the bank. The spouse also works, money in the bank. They have money saved up in pension, 401ks, whatever. They have whole life policies with cash values built up, and they're still denied a mortgage because these banks, they have this cookie cutter theory that it's not like it used to be. So companies like ours, and we're no different than anybody else. The only difference between us and the other investors out there is we have a little bit more compassion, I believe, to allow the people to stay in the home a little bit longer, the seller. We help them, get another place, either one of our other properties if they have a little money to put down, but they want something smaller. And we pay for full credit restoration up to $5,000 of our money.
Oh my God.
So they can make a better future and get back on track without going through the duration of spending thousands of dollars to go bankrupt, or waiting the duration for the deficiency judgment to fall off their credit after 7 years, which, by the way, can be renewed 2 more times.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. It could get really ugly.
It's amazing. Friends, there is so much more to learn here, so many questions, and I'm sure that you all are going to want to know more. So we are hoping that Tax Relief One, you need to call them, you need to go to taxrelief1.com to make sure. Right now, tax season is coming. Give them a call. Make sure that you can file your taxes there. You can do a lot of things with these properties that are coming. If you want to go get a down payment, file your taxes. In 2 years, you can get a traditional loan because the company can carry the note for 2 years. There are so many ways to do things. I know this is a lot of information. So therefore, we're going to ask to Tax Relief One to help us bring Harry G the next week to tell us more about this, to be a little bit more detail on it. Maybe we can do a case study even before that. Maybe we can do a case study with your properties. And folks, if you know a buyer, do you pay a referral fee or a bird dog fee? How does this work, Harry?
We do. We pay a referral fee. If someone sends us someone that needs a home and they wind up buying a home from us, we give them a $2,500 prepaid Visa gift card. They can use it all on their own. So it's free, tax-free money for them. It's our gift to them, $2,500 for everybody they send us.
Once they sign the deal, close the deal, right?
Once the deal is closed, if we hand the keys to the people, we're going to hand a Visa debit card to the person with $2,500 preloaded on the card.
You're listening to it, amigos. Give us a call. Give me a call, Karina.tello@gmail.com, 312-388-1418, English, Spanish, Greek. Do you speak Greek?
I speak it first.
Pardon?
I speak Greek first, actually.
Oh, me too. Spanish, but it's getting weak.
Okay.
I'm kidding. So anyway, give us a call. Let us know about your property. Do you have any problems? And if they want to stop the foreclosure themselves, if they want to do a short sale, your attorney can help too as well, right?
Absolutely. We can, we don't charge people to give them help. If I can help them, if I can go to their home after we make the appointment and I could show them how to do it themselves and walk away from that, that for me is a victory. You know, we're doing 4 or 5 homes a week. We're busy. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
my plate is full, and I like to pay it forward. I like to give back to the community. So if I could show them based on what I've learned over the years, because believe me, I've stepped on every landmine, um, I can show them how to get out of their debt, their problem. If they do have a tax lien on the property from the IRS, let's say, they can go to any tax relief firm or the one that's sponsoring us today, Tax Relief One, and they can actually have any IRS tax debt placed into a financial hardship program where they don't have to pay it back if they don't have the financial wherewithal to pay it. There are programs for them. And any tax lien over 25,000 from these sellers would need to be cured. So we pay for that as well. We will
Wow.
pay for the legal to cover the tax lien of $25,000 or more, the legal fee portion of it. We will cover that. So when we resell the property, it's got a clean title.
Wow, this is amazing. Friends, give us a call. You really have to give yourself the opportunity to know if you can start the year with the, fixing your credit, solving your problem with the mortgage company, start fresh, new again, start the year like from scratch. So give us a call. Let us know if you have any help, you need any help. I'm sorry. We'll be happy to help you. If you have any tax issues, if you need to file your taxes, I know that they have a great program for the truck drivers. I know I have a ton of truck drivers in my audience, so give us a call. They will be having someone in Spanish as well. And I am going to be working on putting this information in Spanish. It was very imperative that I have the opportunity to talk to and have Harry here. I am very, very happy because this knowledge, this is going to be great. So if you have any question, a specific question that you want to know about creative financing subject to owner carry, um,
Contract fees,
pre-foreclosure,
yeah, whatever it is.
whatever it is, give us just put it on the notes, put it on the comments, go to our social media. We will be having another podcast and another show the next week. And if you give us an idea what you really like for us to focus on, we'll be happy to provide that information. Otherwise, we'll just go with the flow, but we probably can break things down little by little. I just wanted people to know that this is truly possible. All you have to do is learn. And what would do you have any advice for brand new investors? Do you have a book that you impacted your life? Do you have a podcast that you follow? A little exercise that you do? Any advice for us?
Yeah, I work hard. I constantly read about all these new programs that are coming out that help people. So when banks are releasing different programs to help people that are in pre-foreclosure and we meet with them, if I can do a few steps for them, calling the bank and negotiating a forbearance with them at their dining room table, and I can leave there knowing that they can still afford that payment after we've modified it for them, I'm thrilled to death, and at zero cost.
So keep on learning, always keep learning, right?
Sure.
and
And if
and there is always a solution to every problem. Would you say that?
there is, but people need to ask. And if they want to ask that question, they need to pick up the phone and call us.
Exactly. Don't be afraid. It is, we understand it's difficult. We understand that sometimes we don't know how to ask, but the more, if you allowed us to hear your case, we may be able to come up with the questions to find that answer that you're looking for. So don't forget. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Another thing is these attorneys, they make it very difficult. The attorneys that are representing the lenders make it very difficult to work things out. So that's why I strongly recommend for people to call or to email you and get the help that they need by asking someone that does this for a living daily. And I do this 7 days a week
Yeah.
to be able to contact the lenders for these people direct, and have them break down the numbers, get them into some type of a new payment plan. Most of the time, they lower the payment. And this way, the legal fees can be put on the back of the loan where they don't have to pay them, along with the back arrears payments and taxes and insurance.
So give us a call, friends, because we really, Harry knows how to really protect you and try to get rid of these attorneys that really are the ones collecting the money or getting the benefits here, really. Give us a call. We really like to help. 312-388-1418. And we will be having Harry G here the next week. Send us your questions. Remember, Tax Relief One for any of your tax issues. Google that number, that name, I'm sorry, fill out the application, and an attorney with a lot of experience will be in contact with you. And we will be having people that speak Spanish as well. We're working on that. But in the meantime, give me a call. I'll be happy to listen to your case. We can put Harry on the phone and see how we can solve your problem. Should you have a pre-foreclosure problem? I know that there are a few clients that have contacted me with those issues. Give me a call and we can solve that problem. Harry, anything that you want to add before we say goodbye? Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for the opportunity. I cannot wait for us to continue working together and perhaps selling all those properties that you have right now as an inventory.
Well, of course, we're here to help people, help deserving families get into homes. But people also need to remember that, a lot of people were not making their mortgage payment because they received a letter from the IRS. That letter is generated by a computer. They receive a letter from the state of Illinois that's generated by a computer. People get into a panic because they're trying to get their citizenship granted to them, and they don't want to have any type of governmental problems. So they stop making their mortgage payment and their car payment to pay this IRS demand. What people have to understand is that 90% of the people that actually have an IRS tax issue, including the state of Illinois or any state for that matter, most of the time they don't even have to pay it back, or a settlement for very little money can be made on their behalf so they don't have to lose their home because they're afraid of the IRS.
Yes.
So when you receive a notice from the IRS, I tell everybody, don't panic. Call that company, Tax Relief One, or whichever company they choose to call, and they're going to give them professional help and at least free advice over the phone. Very important.
Yeah, taking action is better than no action always, isn't it?
I had a friend of mine that was a truck driver, because you mentioned truckers.
Yes.
He owed he didn't file taxes for 14 years. I'm surprised.
I'm surprised
Yeah, that's what I'm really surprised. Anyway, he didn't file taxes for 14 years, and he finally went from his 1099 job to a W-2 job, and the IRS caught up with him. It wasn't a criminal referral for some odd reason, but he owed $538,000. So he went to, and it was Tax Relief One that handled the case for him. $538,000 he owed. They did his numbers. There's no way he can afford to pay them back. So they wound up getting him with hope into a financial hardship program, but it was kicked out because he is $12 per month in the net. So he did not qualify for financial hardship. So now he was in a panic, and he called me screaming. I said, well, wait, calling people back and find out if there's another program.
Mm-hmm.
There was a program. It was called a PPIA, Partial Payment Installment Agreement. It was based on the net revenue of his income per month, net amount. So he was able to settle. If I didn't see this with my own eyes, I would have never believed it. He settled $538,000 for $12 a month for 24 months. And you could have knocked me over with a feather. I was in shock. He couldn't believe it either. So but you can't, for some reason, they don't want you to pay it all in full. They want an individual monthly payment. I told him, you better never miss one payment. And he didn't.
Amazing.
For it. Yeah.
That is crazy, but you're right, because he did something, right? Yeah, that's out of control.
Programs are available. People need to don't panic, don't be in denial, don't get scared. Call and ask questions. If you don't like what they say, hang up, call someone else.
Yeah,
Someone has a solution. We definitely have solutions, but our specialty is putting people into a home for a deserving family. That's what we really like doing. That's our goal. And again,
sure.
like I said before, if I go to someone's house, even though they're like, okay, we're ready to do this, we're ready to move out, we can, but if I can see that they can still afford that home and I can work it out for them during business hours, of course, they contact their lender and see if we could take those back payments and put it on the back end of their mortgage and they can start fresh or even have that loan lowered where they can still afford it. I'm good. I'm happy for the drive and my time. I don't mind. I don't have to make a penny. If I know
No,
that I help that family get back on track and stay in their home, that's the ultimate gift. Now,
no,
it's very rewarding, but if they cannot afford it, I'll work it out for them where we will not only help them move, financially help them move, but if there's a lot of equity in the home, I'm not there to take their equity. I'm there to help them move and get some money after the home sells. And
sure.
that's specialty.
That's fantastic. And it's interesting you say that. I just had a call today from a lady from 5 years ago that I went to their beautiful condo in the South Shore where they only owe $50,000. The condo was gorgeous, gorgeous. And they wanted to just sell it. And I'm like, I refused to buy it. Like, you have to get your equity out, get a doctor, because there were teachers there in this university. Get a doctor, get a teacher from the college, and a colleague of yours. That's what they did, and they or Airbnb, and they never sold. Some folks have just have to structure everything for them. I guess it's awesome, and like you said, that's the best thing to do to give them an idea, a visualization of what their options are. I guess.
People need to ask questions. And when you ask questions, you're going to get more information that you can process. Like we had this, I'll tell you one more thing. We had a family. The husband was 67, the wife was 65. They couldn't afford the $1,200 payment that they still had on their home because their two kids were paying and helping with bills and stuff. And now the parents are just on Social Security. The kids moved out and moved on, and they couldn't figure it out. And I told them, well, you have a lot of equity in your home. You're in foreclosure. Why don't you just get a reverse mortgage? Well, what the hell is that? They didn't even know what that was. And the
Yeah.
commercials are on TV all day long. So I was able to get them put together with a reverse
Sure.
mortgage consultant. It took about a month and a half. I spoke to the bank before that to let them know that a mortgage, I didn't say reverse, but I said a mortgage was being put together. Let's work this thing out. So let's stop any collection from moving forward. They did give them a forbearance, but then they were able to take out this $180,000 existing loan, put into a reverse mortgage. They had like $11,000 left over for themselves. The husband and wife took a trip to Europe, which they always wanted to do. They were
Good for them.
from the Czech Republic. They
And
went
kept their house.
and
And
they kept their house and they pay zero
they
payments.
had to pay zero
And
because,
all they
right?
got to do is pay taxes, insurance, and make sure that everything is kept up. And that's it.
That's awesome. And I love reverse mortgages. Some people think it's crazy, but when you're that age, I'm like, just pull the money out. Who cares about your children, with all the respect?
Home is for your old age and to get reacquainted with new neighbors once you know everybody, and to go to another place, smaller, different. You don't know really where you're at. If you're not moving in with your kids and you're still mobile, stay in your home,
Stay in
get
your
a reverse
home.
mortgage. There's a lot of companies.
Absolutely.
I would strongly recommend it.
I just know that if we put ourselves out there to really pursue our dreams, things are going to happen. And I am ending the podcast with that. And I say that because the universe brought you to me, Harry. All this information is so valuable, and I'm aware of it. And I work with so many people that do it, but not the way that you do it, not the that's the way you do it. And I'm just so excited to have found you, and also the ability that we can provide the Hispanic community a way for them to understand that there are opportunities for them to save their credit, find another home, find a home without that the usually the problem that the Hispanic community has is the credit or the documents, but there's always a little bit of money there. So there is that opportunity, and also to learn. So if we as a community want to learn to start investing in real estate, there is an opportunity to do it without the money. We just have to learn, go to the YouTube University or go to my channels and ask questions. Don't think that because other people don't talk about it doesn't exist. I guess that's when we don't know what we don't know, we don't ask questions, but that's how we have to leave our comfort zone and go find others.
Very true. And lots of the, if I spoke Spanish, I'd be worth $100 zillion today. But the Hispanic community, especially here in Chicago, is so gigantic, and they're always denied. The majority of the time, they're denied a mortgage when they have money in the bank, and maybe one of the husband or the wife is not documented, and the banks find a reason to deny them a loan. We give them a loan based on the previous interest rate that the previous homeowner had.
Mhm.
So, like I said, we're not here to gouge anyone. We just want to get families into a home. So even if they were approved to get a current loan, they're going to have to still put money down to buy the home. Okay. They're still going to have to show all this proof of income, go through all the red tape, and it takes a couple of months, sometimes 3 months to get approved. Even if they got approved with us, the payment is lower.
Yes, because now with the interest rates going higher, now they can afford a bigger house with that too. So this is phenomenal. We're going to continue talking about it. We have to go now. We did get our full hour in. I'm so excited. And I just want to say thank you so much, Harry G, for spending all this time with us. Thank you for all this information. We'll see you next week. But we'll be in touch. We'll be in touch this week. And please do send us the inventory. I do have some couple of properties. Send us the other two you were talking about. We'll talk in detail about the rest, so the Hispanic population, or our audience, I should say, apologize, can start taking advantage of these awesome opportunities. Thank you, everyone, for having us. Thank you, Gary. Thank you for your time. Viva de tus rentas. Go subscribe. Go like it. If you want more of this great information, let us know. We'll post it as soon as possible. Have a great week. Happy New Year. And I hope all your dreams come true this year.
Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.